This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Largest four-lane bridge in Jamaica to be built over Rio Minho. The largest four-lane bridge in Jamaica is to be constructed over the Rio Mina in Clarendon as part of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. Speaking at a JIS think tank on February 10, Managing Director of the National Road Operating and Constructing Company, Ivan Anderson, explained that the bridge will be much wider than the existing bridge, which is a two-lane thoroughfare. He said that preparatory work for the construction of the bridge, which involves piling, is now underway at the site. The bridge sits on 30-foot-long piles which are driven all the way down into bedrock under the ground. So that's the major activity taking place now. We are drilling for the piles, Anderson explained. He added that the steel cages are now sitting on the ground. So once the drilling is completed, the steel cages will be inserted and concrete will be poured. The managing director said that at almost 150 meters wide, the bridge will be very imposing. He pointed out that over the years, the Rio Mina has had significant flood events, so the bridge is designed for a 100-year storm, meaning that for a 100-year event, the bridge should not be overtopped. Anderson explained that the design of the bridge has taken previous experiences into consideration, such as in 1986 when the approaches to the existing bridge collapsed as the earth embankment on the western side was washed away. Taking that into consideration, we've reviewed the design, so our new bridge is now 150 meters wide, so we don't expect to have any similar issues again, he said. Anderson added that the drainage in the area is expected to be significantly improved. 2 additional bridges are being built under the project, one of which will be done over the Milk River and the other over the St. Anne's Gully. 13 other structures, including underpasses, field connectors, and an overpass are being constructed. The work is being done on the Maypen to William Field leg of Highway 2000, which is currently under construction. Man shoots up taxi on Mountain View Avenue, leaving 1 dead. 2 persons were shot, 1 fatally, after a gunman opened fire on a taxi in which they were traveling along Mountain View Avenue in St. Andrew on Thursday. The identity of the deceased man has not yet been ascertained. Reports on the incident are sketchy, but it is understood that about 7 p.m., a man stopped the taxi as it traveled along a section of the Mountain View Avenue. When the vehicle came to a stop close by where the man was, he reportedly pulled a firearm and opened fire, hitting 2 of the passengers in the vehicle before fleeing the scene. The wounded persons, a man and a woman, were assisted to the hospital. On their arrival, the man was pronounced dead, while the woman was hospitalized. Her condition is unclear. A motive for the gun attack has not yet been established by investigators. New electricity rates take effect. Starting this month, Jamaica Public Service will be implementing the new rates that were recently approved by the Office of Utilities Regulation. These rates will begin to be reflected on the bills that JPS customers receive over the next few days for electricity use for the period January to February, the utility company said in a statement. The impact of the new rates on bills for individual customers and the rate categories will vary depending on their consumption patterns. With the new rate, a residential customer using on average 170 kilowatt per hour for the month will see an increase of about 2% on his or her bill. This customer will pay more on the February bill compared to what they paid in January. These new rates will remain in effect for the next 5 years with annual adjustments by OUR for inflation. There are important changes made by the OUR to how charges for fuel and power purchased from independent power producers are calculated and displayed on the bill. Previously, a large part of IPP cost was blended into the energy and demand charges across various rate classes. The IPP component will now be totally separated from the energy and demand charges. Similarly, the monthly variation in actual IPP cost was combined with fuel and shown as fuel and IPP charges on customers' bills. This too will change. Fuel charge will now be displayed as a separate line item, while IPP charges will be displayed as a fixed IPP charge and variable IPP charge. Residential and R20 customers will also see a variable IPP charge line item. These changes are intended to improve transparency in the composition of bill charges. Customers will continue to see changes in the fuel and IPP charges based on the actual cost of fuel used in generating electricity, the electricity purchased from other local power producers, and the exchange rates. JPS said it has no control over the fuel and IPP charges, which together currently account for approximately 70% of customers' bills. 20 communities with most active COVID cases, 6 in St. Catherine. 6 of the top 20 communities across the island with a worrying number of active cases of COVID-19 up to February 9 are located in the parish of St. Catherine, with 3 of the 6 being in Portmore alone. The numbers were presented on Thursday during a virtual press conference hosted by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The 6 St. Catherine communities are Greater Portmore, which has 27 active cases from a total of 382 infections. Passage Fort, with 15 active cases from 81 overall. Linstead, which has 26 active cases from a total of 220. Old Harbor, with 14 active cases from 242. Spanish Town Central, with 21 from 177 overall, and Gregory Park, which has 19 active cases from a total of 131. Of the remaining communities, 4 are located in Manchester, which has over the past 2 weeks emerged as the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic in Jamaica. The 4 Manchester communities are Mandeville, Cristiano with 20 active cases, Colleyville, 18 active cases, and Knockpatrick with 14 active cases. In St. Andrew, the Constant Spring community has 24 active cases, while Meadowbrook and Havendale combined has 14 cases that are active. In Kingston, the community of Rockfort has 16 active cases. Over in St. James, which is one of the hardest hit parishes outside of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine and Manchester, there are 15 active cases in the Bogue community, while the Montego Bay Business District has 15 such cases. The other communities which are in the top 20 are Hopewell in Hanover with 15, Waitabit Trelawney with 26, Spalding Clarendon with 20, Grantham Clarendon with 17, and Runaway Bay St. Anne with 16. JLP supporters asked to stay away from Gordon House on February 18. Deputy leader of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, Desmond Mackenzie, is appealing to the party supporters to stay away from the precincts of Gordon House on Thursday, February 18, which will mark the traditional state opening of Parliament. Supporters of both the JLP and the opposition People's National Party normally turn out in large numbers to cheer on their favorite senior politicians. However, the opening of Parliament to signal the start of the 2021 to 2022 fiscal year will be different this time around, as the country is in the midst of a surge in COVID-19 cases, which as of Thursday stood at 18,527 with 368 deaths. With most parishes showing increases in cases and some hospitals being under pressure, Mackenzie asked that JLP supporters heed the call to stay home and not gather to support their senators and members of Parliament as is customary. The highlight of the state opening of Parliament is the throne speech, which is delivered by the Governor-General and which outlines the government's priorities for the fiscal year, which begins on April 1. The new budget is also to be tabled on the same day as the ceremonial opening of Parliament. Holness answers curfew blowback. It is not the government's intention to prolong the tighter curfew hours, which now starts at 8 p.m. and ends at 5 a.m. the following morning, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has said as he answers criticism from the new measures he announced on Tuesday. Speaking on Thursday, the Prime Minister said it was with great reluctance that the government decided to impose tighter curfew hours, while maintaining it was to ensure that there is no overwhelming of the hospital system. The capacity levels of several hospitals have been trending dangerously low. We understand the devastating impact it can have on the economy, but we looked at the numbers in hospital and we weighed the risk. The bigger risk to the country is that we would not want people to turn up
up at hospitals struggling to breathe, needing attention, and we don't have space for them, he said, as he addressed the issue while at a National Housing Trust handing over ceremony on Thursday. It's not easy, he lamented. Currently, Western Health Region is at 83% capacity. The Southern Region is at 76%, Northern Region at 66%, and Southeast Region at 59%. Additionally, there are a number of hospitals across the island that are at or above 90% occupancy level, including Maypen, Kingston Public Hospital, and Spanish Town Hospital. Holness said the tighter curfews are not long-term, and there is a 2-week monitoring period to see whether COVID-19 infection cases fall. We are going to be watching the numbers, he said. He expressed the concern that while people in town centers are wearing masks, they were doing so improperly. In the meantime, Holness sought to drum up support for the COVID-19 vaccines, which are to arrive on the island shortly. We don't have anything to fear. We have our own set of laws established here. Our policies are established, and we have an excellent set of experts in this area who are employed to the government or who were formerly employed or who are experts employed to international agencies. We go through that process to ensure that when we do get the vaccines here, we have the best vaccines, Holness stated.
Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.